Not today.
For real?
Back off, okay?
Stanley Hill was a former elite soldier, a veteran of the U.S. Army Special Forces, and a Medal of Honor recipient for his service in Iraq and Afghanistan. The next day, at the investigators' request, Stanley returns to the police station to identify those responsible for the horrific incident.
4, step forward.
Drop this on him.
Number 2, up front. 2, remove your hat.
That's him. That's him. You're certain of it. That's him. Okay, what? That's it.
Stanley is dealt a disappointing blow when the detectives decide to release the attacker, owing to a lack of substantial proof, leaving him feeling completely powerless and despair.
What could be worse than the man who killed walks out here like it's a joke, like it's nothing?
Oh, you want me to go home and hope that he dies, is that it?
He turns to his daughter Abby and tells her of the killer's release, Stanley consumed with wrath at the criminal freedom. Fueled by rage and an unshakable thirst for justice, he turns to his former friend Dennis for help. Dennis, fearful of the potential implications of seeking vengeance, cautions Stanley against taking this road. Undeterred by the warnings, Stanley teams up with Dennis and embarks on a journey to find the perpetrators. Their initial lead leads them to a bar, where Stanley spots Nathan, one of the attackers, handing over Vivian's stolen purse to his girlfriend.
That you and your scumbag friend snuffed out.
It ain't nothing like that. You really have no damn idea, do you?
That man with a fly tattoo on his face, where is he?
3 minutes.
As they consider their next moves, an unexpected twist occurs. A gang member secretly records the disposal of Nathan's body and informs the notorious crime lord LK of the situation. In reaction, Lee K instructs Charlie Fly, the man who murdered Vivian, to kill both Stanley and Dennis. Faced with this approaching threat, Dennis leads Stanley to a hidden basement stocked with training equipment and a cache of weapons from their past. Dennis hacks into a broken phone found by Nathan and discovers a contact related with the zombie tattoo shop. This relationship appears to be critical in uncovering the facts about the unfortunate incident, bringing them closer to understanding the motives behind the murder. As the story progresses, Lake Hay, the powerful crime boss, takes action. He approaches detectives Gibson and Walker, asking that they identify those responsible for the deaths of his gang members. A shocking revelation surfaces, revealing the corrupt detective's role in a diabolical collaboration with Lake Hay. They have reached an agreement to protect Lemmy K's henchmen from punishment in exchange for their quiet on a damaging video that could expose Governor Messer's son.
Remember, anything happens to me, you know that's going online.
Whoa.
This video is nothing short of frightening, depicting the governor's son committing a horrible crime that included the murder of his girlfriend and the selling of hazardous crystal narcotics. LMI uses this incriminating tape as leverage, threatening to reveal it to the public if the cops fail to catch the perpetrators. During the commotion of the inquiry, Detective Gibson meets with Governor Messer and explains LMI's role in the crime. The governor, now aware of the impending scandal and the gravity of the situation, asks the detective to uncover the truth about the recent crimes. Determined to avoid the distribution of the devastating footage, the governor faces a mystery surrounding the culprits' identities and motivations, heightening the importance of the inquiry. Meanwhile, amid the continued investigation, Stanley devises a plan to face Lars, who works at the zombie tattoo business. Only to find a new employee when he arrives, Dennis goes to the shop after hearing an alarm, only to confront Charlie and his gang.
I just want to ask you a few questions.
Thing and try and find.
Meanwhile, while having an I Am Wrath tattoo on his back, Stanley confronts Lars about Charlie. Stanley kills Lars by cutting his throat. Stanley seizes Elle's cocaine shipment, further complicating the situation. They dispose of the remains quietly with Dennis's help, driven by tremendous guilt and anguish over his Mafia history and Vivian's untimely death. Stanley seeks refuge at a church. There, he unburdens his soul before a priest, admitting his faults and pleading for pardon. During the pandemonium, Abby visits Stanley's house with the intention of gathering her mother's stuff. To her surprise, Abby uncovers a slew of weaponry and gang-related paraphernalia littered throughout the property. Before they can flee, Charlie and his henchmen stage an unexpected ambush.
What happened?
Stanley comes just in time to clear the issue, but Abby is understandably upset with him. Over at the governor's residence, Messer learns of additional casualties in Lee McKay's gang and realizes the necessity for professional assistance in apprehending those responsible. As the situation worsens, the governor takes action to handle the emerging problem. Meanwhile, Leemik is outraged after finding that his expensive narcotics cargo has been stolen. He issues a strong warning to Charlie, who finds himself in hot water. Unbeknownst to Charlie, Stanley, disguised in the basement of a barbershop, obtains Charlie's contact details from Elle's phone. In a smart ruse, he dupes Charlie into going to a Korean club where Stanley and Dennis are ready to face him.
Hey, you! You can't come in here.
You got 3 minutes.
Charlie unintentionally reveals that Lee McKay was the mastermind behind the horrific incident. Stanley, driven by rage and determination, shoots Charlie, killing him. Armed men approach in on Stanley and Dennis, but with incredible coordination, they narrowly avoid capture. Back in their underground refuge, Dennis shares a frightening secret about the ruthless crime leader Lee McKay. Stanley, concerned for his family's safety, decides to shift them to a motel. When Stanley returns home, he is surprised. According to the study, Governor Messer forced Vivian into concealing the concerns of water contamination related to the pipeline project. Listening to a voicemail left by Vivian confirms his concerns that her murder was staged to conceal the results of her environmental evaluation. As the pieces of this complex puzzle fall into place, Stanley becomes more motivated than ever to discover the truth and seek justice for his wife. LM and his gang launch an unexpected and terrifying assault on Abby and her family.
Call him now!
My phone is in the kitchen.
Your father. No!
He immediately contacts Dennis for essential backup. Stanley and Dennis arrive at the location and confront Lake Hay and his scary crew.
Drop it!
Hands up.
That's it.
Dennis is shot during the conflict, but his tenacity shines through as he recovers and defeats Lee McKay's gang.
No reason on earth.
So who's behind us?
It goes right to the top.
The governor.
Didn't reserve order of the head!
However, just as Lee McKay is about to identify the genuine murderer, Detective Gibson takes merciless action, shooting him in an attempt to conceal the truth. Despite the overwhelming corruption around him, Stanley remains steadfast in his objective and refuses to sacrifice his integrity. A tense standoff ensues as Gibson's backup. Detective Walker attempts a move but is quickly disabled by Dennis Gibson's efforts to talk with Stanley fail. Stanley restrains Gibson by handcuffing him to the steering wheel of his car while Walker is confined in the trunk. He forces Gibson to drive him to Governor Messer's estate, where a sinister web of deception slowly unravels. Laying the groundwork for a final encounter during the difficult ride, Gibson uncovers the horrific truth about the governor's illicit actions, shedding light on why Lee McKay and his allies have evaded the law. The disclosures weigh heavily on Stanley as he grapples with the scope of wrongdoing. When he arrives at the mansion, Gibson begs Stanley to release him so he can talk to the governor on his behalf. Instead, Stanley renders Gibson unconscious with a heavy strike to the head. Stanley neutralizes the guards and sets up a trap for Gibson.
killed.
Who else knows about that report?
News of the break-in at the governor's mansion circulated rapidly, attracting a swarm of police officers who surrounded the property despite almost escaping. Thanks to a bulletproof vest provided by Dennis, Stanley gets arrested after a revelation that he will be taken to a federal prison hospital. Abby sneaks into his hospital room for an emotional farewell hug, capping off this thrilling and tumultuous series of events later that night. 2 policemen are stationed outside Stanley's hospital room, one of whom is Walker, who has been reduced to patrol duty. Nonetheless, he hides his nasty intentions as he approaches Stanley's room with a nefarious goal of eliminating him.
It's time to settle the score for what you did to me and my partner. What's going on in that mind of yours?
Just thinking about my daughter and you and your partner.
An unexpected twist. Abby had left a concealed handgun disguised as a hug, allowing Stanley to defend himself in this unexpected turn of events. Dennis, dressed as a doctor, plays a critical part in planning their daring escape. Stanley and Dennis manage to escape, finding asylum in São Paulo, Brazil, to avoid the unscrupulous authorities. Abby eventually receives a note from her father, confirming his safety and thanking her for her essential support.